Open up and we'll be
Here it
good.
is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. That's Greg Dixon here for Playing Music for Fun. And I'm talking with Bill Master. I just met him recently in Kyle Whitlin's Logic Pro Masterclass. And, you, kind of similar to me, you play a lot of different instruments, write songs. And maybe you want to talk a bit of your story, how you got into music and what
Okay.
really drives you with that. So,
I come from a very musical family. My father played bugle. First instrument was a bugle in the military corps at his school. Um, but he played guitar, steel pedal guitar, organ. He had two Hammond organs, a B3 and a B3000 in our living room. So and my grandmother played piano. I used to sit on the bench next to her, and every time I hear a song by Mama Cass Elliot, Dream a Little Dream of Me, I hear my grandmother's nails clicking on the piano keys, and it always reminds me of her. But that was my inspiration for it. We were given this little present for Christmas one year around that time when I was 7. It was a Motorola AM radio, came in a cheap pleather case with a shoulder strap. And the minute I had that, our two radio stations in the Philadelphia area at that time were WIBG and WFIL. And I was hooked on music after that. Started taking organ lessons at 7, and probably about 15, I started teaching myself guitar and then drums. And from there, played it with a group of friends. We just played originals and cover tunes. So I learned to read and write. One of my things I always like to laugh at was the encouragement I got during that time. I was the only person that would sing because the two guys wanted to play dual lead guitars, and I would sing the songs, ask them how it was, and they look at me and go, "Well, that stank. Sing the next one." So that's the encouragement I got growing up. But it caused me to press on, press on, and press on to become a better singer, a better guitar player. Fast forward, um, since 1991, I think I've been playing guitar in church, and probably since around 2000, probably around 2000, I started also playing piano and drums in church. So I play various different things. I have a lot of things that I hadn't learned to play yet, or can play a little bit. I can do a little bit with banjo, mandolin. Um, I just got an electronic Alesis drum set that's been awesome. I got to get that set up to work in Logic Pro, um, and play bass guitar. So that's what I do. And I started writing. My first song I wrote was in 1981, and I've been writing songs ever since. And I find music probably to be the easier part sometimes, as opposed to the lyrics and the lyrical part. But just in this last 5 months or so, I've written so many songs with lyrics. It's just pouring out of me. So you just grab the opportunity when you can and write down every little thing you get, piece it together later, and figure it all out as it goes along. So that's my background in music.
no, that's great. That's kind of similar to mine. I started probably in elementary school, and then was in a um, the school had a orchestra in elementary school, and then pretty much all the way through high school, and then started about grade 8. I had started a band in my basement.
Right,
So
yeah, exactly.
yeah, and it's played. And the thing is, I think it's well, it's great fun, and some people would say, well, need to know a lot to go out. I think mostly you learn from doing, getting out, and you know, you get signed up. So somebody wants you to come and play piano at the service. Well, maybe you got to learn the tune and figure it out, and yeah, so
Exactly.
yeah,
Um, I think I probably learn more theory now than I did back then. I learn everything by ear.
yeah,
But as I'm getting older and maturing, theory is important to a point, because it does help you in song structure. And once you understand some of those things, I'm no music theorist expert, but I know enough of it to accomplish things, you know. And I like it to keep it free floating as far as going by ear.
Yeah, I was a drummer, so
Okay,
basically I didn't really learn music theory or even chords or scales or anything until later,
right.
and my experience, how important that was when I had some friends who ended up going to a jazz music school in North Vancouver, and I
Hmm.
tagged along and played drums with them, right? But they would sit down and they would say, "Oh, it's a 1 6 2 5 progression or something, something, in a key," and it says, "Okay, what does that mean?" And then
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
then it would say it was like a you know sort of blues progression or something, and with a turnaround. So that's all they needed to say to communicate the song. And then somebody would say, "Oh, geez, that's a little bit weird. Let's do it in G or something, and change the key on the fly."
Right.
And in this little shorthand, and I ended up playing when I played with musicians who can understand that at some level. It's way easier. You just
Yeah, the Nashville numbering system is easier probably for them because the numbering system, I think, as long as they know the key and the numbering system, they know what to do. I'm just learning that. You know?
I've
I'm no
I've got
pro
a
at it, but I get
I've
it.
got a little cheat sheet that I created. I saw something similar out of in a guitar book, and then I've basically it's all of the keys with all the 1 4 5 highlighted, and then all the various degrees. And so in theory, if I'm trying to play along with bass or something, I can go and just go find it, and at least I know if I hit any of these notes, they're going to be at least within the
Within
scale.
the scale. Hey, you have to
Yes.
send that to me. I want a copy of that. That would
Yeah.
be very helpful.
Yeah. And
As we were, oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, it's great. No, it's just, and that's where I realized I kind of wish I had taken. I think if I had learned some kind of melodic instrument, piano or a guitar or something earlier, then that would have helped.
Right. But you had to read the drum sheet music, which I've seen, and that's all Greek to me,
Oh yeah, yeah.
with the
It's like,
X's and the slashes and
oh yeah, yeah. The thing is, yeah, I'm not a great reader. I can read that,
hmm.
those are really handy for learning something, right? You want,
Right.
what did Phil Collins do on this Brand X thing? Well,
Yeah, right. Yes.
totally insane. I was one time I was playing. A friend of mine came and said he had some friends from on Vancouver Island, and we're going to play, and the drummer couldn't come along. I said, "Well, what kind of music do they play?" And he said, "Fusion." Oh, well, I got to hear that. you
Yeah,
know,
that's a wide open title
yeah,
there.
yeah, because most things I can sit down and play 90% of things. It doesn't matter if I've heard it, I can play the style. But fusion, I said, okay, that could be something I could sit there and not have a clue about what to do. you know,
Right.
yeah.
Or the
Anyway,
freedom, depending
yeah.
on how you look
Anyway,
at it.
they had an album and I listened to it. What they meant by fusion was half of the stuff was sort of Eagle-esque country rock, which was totally in my wheelhouse. And the other thing was klezmer music, which is like polka, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
so
that's
that's what they
different.
meant by fusion. It says, okay, I can do the polka, and I can do I can do the
Right.
Eagle standard singer songwriter beat. So we're all good. So it wasn't as frightening, but there's
Right.
like a sort of like the more advanced Pat Metheny tune or something. Well, okay, don't have a clue
Exactly,
about
exactly. Or
how you.
Jeff Beck or somebody. Yeah. It's free flowing, which is a nice thing about fusion. I like rock, jazz fusion, progressive rock, just because if you take Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I can think of they did a song called Hoedown.
Yes,
And through the song, it went from classical to rock to um, ragtime to blues, all through the whole song. And they just kind of fused it all together. And it's like, I like that. I mean, that I can flow with. I
yeah,
get that. It's like
yeah,
just follow along. Just
Just follow
just
along.
hop on the train and stay on the tracks.
Stay on the track, see where it goes. So one
Yeah.
of the things I want to do with Logic Pro is I've had this idea of to take the Ode to Joy, just the basic thing that's almost every beginning piano book has the first song is Ode to Joy, that little
Right.
melody. You only need 5 fingers and almost everybody knows the melody. But to do it, actually have Carlos Santana run through it and do it a verse, and then Led Zeppelin, and then it's like kind of bluegrass thing. But
Oh
I
yeah.
was thinking with Logic Pro, we could probably reproduce all of those sections. That's going to be a mission for me to
Oh, that would be neat. Yeah.
that'd be
And
nice. And
that's
maybe
exactly
that's something everybody can contribute a section in there. Let's run through the thing once with in there's the style they want, right?
right. And get everybody to do it individually and somehow figure out how to put them all together as a band sound too.
Yeah,
That would
it's
be interesting.
be a fun
You know,
project. Yeah. So
I write in probably 14, 15 different genres.
yeah.
Um, I hear people say, developing a brand and sticking to that so that people are familiar with you, but I just can't grasp that concept because whatever comes out of me comes out of me.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't necessarily sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a Scottish Irish folk tune. You
Yeah.
know, it just comes out that way. And this is going to be a 6/4 timing or 4/4 timing, or I'm going to write a ballad, or I'm going to write this or that, a blues number. Uh, I just, I find when I deliberately sit down and try to write a song specifically, it's never as good as the stuff that just happens.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
happens for sure.
And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's okay. But it's like, nah, nobody's going to get to hear that.
I suspect your music collection is probably a lot like mine, a bit of everything.
Yes, 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 yes. You could say I have Led Zeppelin, and you could say I have Andrea Bocelli. You know, I mean, I don't listen to opera, but him and Sarah Brightman, they're just so good together. It's like that's good
Yeah.
stuff, you know. But then again, I was born in '63, so I grew up and listened to '60s, '70s music, and that's more my style. The '80s, I tended to lean a little off of that. I never got into the heavy metal thrash stuff. I've never gotten into rap music or hip hop. And by the time the 90s and the 2000s start hitting around, there's less and less music I listen to. And I would say now I probably don't listen to the radio at all
Yeah, okay.
because it just sounds all the same to me. If you turn on a country station, every sound is the same formula. And it's almost like you can't tell whether you're listening to a different artist or not because they all sound the same. Or if you
Yeah.
listen to what they call R&B now,
Yeah.
I listen, I go, that's not R&B. You need to go back to the 70s and listen to people like Teddy Pendergrass and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and Marvin Gaye and understand what real R&B is.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
you know,
Yeah. There was that song, Video Killed the Radio Star.
right.
And I think that applied to country music. Yeah, after video come out, people started writing songs to cater to the video, and it started
Right.
sounding a lot alike.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even in Christian contemporary music and worship music, their kick now is today is everybody that's like in their 20s. Everybody's got this high-pitched voice that nobody can sing in. And so the congregation can't sing it, and every band sounds exactly the same.
Oh yeah.
It's like there's no originality anymore. It's like, geez, man, back in the 90s, there was originality. Now you all sound the same.
Yeah.
So I only either listen to what I write or whatever is on my Spotify playlist,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
or my CD and cassette and album collection. Yes, I still have cassettes and albums.
Yeah. You have access to pretty much anything somewhere, like the YouTube. There's almost nothing that's
Yeah,
not on YouTube somewhere.
exactly.
Anyway, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm sure you know who Rick Beato is. He does it
Yes,
with
I have his course.
yeah, and it's interesting that how many people on there were heavily influenced by classical composers. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I
Sure.
wonder if he was
Yeah.
because he's good himself and he's got an ear. He can hear things
Oh
that
yeah. No.
he's unbelievable. Some people
Yeah.
can't stand him, and I don't know why. I think he knows what he's talking about. So I was impressed enough to buy
Well,
his course.
and he knows. Yeah, I've got his course too. I haven't done much with it, but I've got it.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
finding the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I'm pretty impressed because he sits down and he can sit down and do a reasonable job on guitar or bass or piano. Like he's pretty fluent in most of those things, and and the interviews he does. Like
Yes.
one of my favorites is the Michael McDonald interview. That was about an
Okay.
hour and 20 minutes, right? And I think I've listened to it twice so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has some guy that plays acoustic guitar. I don't know his name, but he plays the entire rhythm, melody, and leads finger picking on guitar. And he did it with a lot of Beatles songs.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw him, and that guy's like, he's amazing. Even Rick Beato's looking at him going, I can't even do
Yeah.
that.
I didn't realize, but there's a whole pile of ex TED Talk musicians, and some of those things. Holy smoke! Like people with a ukulele, like the stuff that people can come out of a ukulele,
Oh yeah.
like and just very imaginative, creative stuff, right?
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was one thing George Harrison was into a lot in his later years.
yeah,
And he pulled up to Tom Petty's house and opened his trunk and said, "Here, I'm going to leave these here." And there must have been like 12 different mandolins. And after he
yeah,
gave him one, he said, "No, you already gave me one." No, so, but we might have more people coming, so we need to have them available.
yeah.
So we gave him all these things. It's like he was so into it. And he was good at it.
And I was good. Yeah, the sitar and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I like the story about how the traveling Wilburys got started, right?
Yes.
They just pop by. Oh, I got the song. I need to record it. Pop by. Next thing you know, everybody's hanging out at Bob Dylan's basement or something
Yeah.
in the studio.
Ask Bob, can we use your studio? Sure. Talking to Roy Orbison. Hey, you want to come along?
Yeah. And they says, well, there's no point having Roy come here and not have him sing.
Right, right,
That
right.
would be just silly. So,
And they gave each other different Wilbury names, and
yeah,
there
no,
was no ego involved.
that was
It
one of the
was
funnest bands, really.
just camaraderie amongst people that enjoyed music, and that was cool because any one of them could have easily had an ego.
Yeah,
Bob Dylan could have, George or Roy, Tom Petty being the youngest, but they didn't. And Jeff Lynne, who most people don't realize how much he's produced for other people. I
yeah,
never knew it until recently. I just
yeah,
knew him as ELO, and it's like, oh, he's also a producer. He's done all this stuff. Wow, I
yeah,
never knew that. His
yeah,
name's probably on a lot more stuff than we realize.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, instruments are fun. Instruments are fun. Recording's fun. Learning Logic Pro is interesting. I'm nowhere near a pro at it for
yeah,
sure. I can find my way around it. I can do things. I know I've learned a lot in the short time I've been there. But it's
yeah,
just getting the tracks finalized is where I'm at now, and finding the time to do it. And it's you have to set the time aside,
yeah,
but you can't. Um, some will tell you, oh, just do it in little increments if that's all you can do. That's not how my brain's wired. I need to spend an hour at least, or
yeah,
something like that. If I'm going to go in there, I'm not going to go in for 10, 15 minutes and walk away. It's like I didn't accomplish anything in 10, 15 minutes.
I'm really just at square one with that. I've had Logic Pro for a while, but I used Cubase before,
Okay.
and but I did like when Kyle did his little free masterclass thing. I was
Right.
sold. I was ready to join after he had. I don't know if you were on that one where somebody had a playing guitar and singing, just on a chair in a church or something, and he took it and he extracted the parts and created a whole arrangement out of it. And
Yeah, yeah, and you can do
yeah,
that. I did that with some cassettes of mine. I
yeah,
have at least a dozen cassettes of stuff I've recorded since the 80s and the early 90s, and I needed to get them off of there because you know how cassettes are. One day you put them in that player and they never come back out again because they wrap around the tape heads. You know?
they melt in the sun or something. So I've got some stuff from years ago that I had at one point, but I can't find them, and some of the people I played with are no longer with us. It's just so it's
Uh,
just a problem. But
yeah, and they might have it. Just their spouses might have it, or who knows?
yeah, you never know. Like I tend to hoard those things, and now I'm trying to digitize things and put them on Google Drive or something, because
Right.
and I,
Exactly.
I I end up, because I do that. Sometimes people come to me 10 or 15 years later. Do you have a copy of this? Well, I do. Yes,
Yes, you
'Cause-
do. And I saved it. Exactly. And
yeah,
that's what I do. And some of those I have made full versions out of them. Um, I know I was talking to you, writing back and forth about AI, and there's a lot of negative things being said about it, and what it is and what it isn't is totally different than what's being portrayed in the media. Um, I'll tell you, I took three songs where two I sang and played guitar, and one I sang and played piano. Um, Went from my stereo into my computer, got them saved on here, put them in Logic Pro, played with the mixing because, as you can imagine, an old cassette, how grainy and bad it sounds. You had to do something, bring the vocals up, guitars up to match it
sure,
all up. And then I just took it and put it in AI just to give it a band behind it. And although it didn't use my guitar, piano, and vocals, it sang exactly what I sang and played exactly what I played and put a band around it.
yes,
Unfortunately, with it now, it has all those little artifacts in it. It says it's AI, so I can't use them unless I redo them
yeah,
with my
yeah,
other stuff. So, but it's a great tool for developing a background to your song, but is definitely not the final mix of a song
yeah,
because every single one of them, as far as I'm concerned, is not a final product. You need to take it back into your DAW, remix it, do
yeah,
all your stuff, set the levels and everything. Because when you first do it, you're like, "Oh, that sounds fabulous." But when you listen to it 100 times, then you start nitpicking every little thing about it. And when you listen to it through Logic, you'll realize you go how the audio is off, how the mixing is off, how things bleed into each other's. So you split it all into stems and working on that way. And
yeah,
with my new drum set that you heard about, I plan on removing all the drum tracks and playing my own drums to that, and slowly by slowly
yeah,
taking each instrument out and putting my own instruments in there. I
yeah,
just was speaking
yeah.
to a woman today at church who's a violinist, and she is awesome. She's good. And I was asking her questions about violin bows and rosins and all that. And in the process of conversation, I told her how I've been writing and asked her, would she be interested in playing violin on any of these songs that have violins? I would love to. And so we started talking about the different genres, and she's getting all excited. So I'm going to be sending her some stuff so that she can practice, so that I can take the violins out and put a real person playing violin and give her the full freedom to, you don't necessarily have to play exactly what's there. Go with your heart. I mean, yeah, follow it if you want, but add to it if you want too. I want to give her that full freedom. So I'm looking forward to that. And I used to be a massage therapist. So I had a client who came in with his mom, and he's off in college right now. And he is a true word, a pianist. Him and his cousin are insanely good. You want to listen to some classical pianists play professionally. That's this kid, and he's not even maybe 2021. And
Yeah.
I asked him recently. He's away and he's coming back in August. And I said, "Hey, could you possibly come and play piano on a few of my recordings here?" And so I told him what I was doing. He's like, "Oh, definitely." He's all psyched and ready to do it. So I've already got two people lined up. And I don't have a way to do vocals here where I currently live, so that's going to be an interesting thing. Plus, I don't have a good quality microphone. I need to
Oh,
do some shopping around and get some information on what people think is a good microphone for singing, and probably get the whole shield thing and everything, and probably have to record in the middle of the night when nobody's around, so I don't hear traffic and pick up all the residual noises around me, or find a place that I can record. We do have a studio not too far from me that I can actually go in there
yeah,
and just lay down vocal tracks.
yeah.
So
No,
I can take,
that's great.
yeah. So where I'm at in the process of songwriting. I have
Yeah.
quite a few songs I'm working on. I probably have, at a rough guess, about 170 some right now.
Okay.
That if I can just get final mixes on all of them, it'd be fantastic.
That'll take you more than a couple of days.
Yeah, but I look at it this way: how many people, if you, any band, what do? They spend months or a few weeks in the studio to release one album, and it's another year before you get another one.
Yeah,
I already have probably 10 CDs worth of music.
right.
So
Yeah,
when I get to that point, I won't be having to deal with that. It's like, okay, don't worry, the catalog's all right here. Here's the next 10. Here's the next 10.
yeah.
Here's the next 10. Yeah.
So where are you putting your music out?
Huh?
Uh, are you is your
It's
I think
not out. Yeah,
oh
it's not
not
out anywhere. Yeah.
not out anywhere. Okay.
No. I mean, it's on Suno. Some of the songs I published on Suno. Um, I have my own playlist of some songs on Apple Music, but I don't
Okay.
know if anybody else can see that. I just basically made a playlist on my account of my music,
Okay. Yeah.
and I had stuff same way on Spotify on a playlist, and I at first I thought they deleted it
Okay.
because I read something recently. Spotify went and deleted like 7.5 million songs off of their platform that were all strictly AI. And when I clicked on my music, it was empty. But later on, after looking, I found them, and I'm like, well, that's funny. Here's a company that uses AI, kicking people out for
Yeah.
using AI.
Oh no. Yeah. It's yeah. It's a weird world.
Yes. So I'm just I'm doing what I'm doing where many people tell me, "Are you wasting your time?" I said, no, I don't think I'm wasting my time
No.
because I'm riding the wave and doing what I do and see where it goes. In the meantime, I'm working on trying to replace, like I said, the AI instrumentation with real instrumentation
Yeah.
and hopefully get the whole thing to be all human so that I don't have to do a collaborative,
Yeah.
I think there's another word, but a collaborative copyright. And I want to be able to take them and be able to load them up into ASCAP because I'm a member there.
Yeah.
And I have my own publishing company set up, so I want to publish them through my own.
Yeah.
And what to do with them after that is either let other people record them and
See what happens. Yeah.
yeah, see what happens.
Yeah.
And
No, I think that's great. I think my impression of many Shania Twain songs that Jeff Lang had involved with started on a laptop somewhere, and
mhm.
then eventually they brought in sometimes they brought in real musicians to play the parts, and sometimes they didn't. Like the Up album had a disco version. I think that was totally done laptop version of the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And what people, the big hype is everybody say, oh, it's going to replace the need for real musicians. And I'm thinking, well, Logic Pro has session musicians, and nobody complained that that was going to put session musicians out of business, you
yeah,
know? And you could go on, people using loops, people using beatboxes, using
yeah.
auto
Oh
tune.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
all out there today. And it's like, well, why aren't you complaining about that stuff? And all these rap artists calling themselves musicians. Not one of you plays an instrument.
Yeah.
You're using a machine to make the sounds of an instrument. You know, it's like you're not a musician.
And then there's Ed Sheeran, right? Somebody asks us, says, "Well, do you tour with a band?" No, just me.
Really?
Yeah, he said it's amazing. He's just got a stage with a bunch of instruments and loopers, and he starts stuff off, and then
Oh,
and he builds it live on the stage. It's just phenomenal, really.
have you ever heard of Phil Keggy?
I've heard the name, but I don't know.
You
So
should look him up. He does just that. And sometimes he has a band and sometimes he doesn't. And when he doesn't have a band, he is the band. He'll
yeah, he
sing
is.
the backups into his guitar. He'll beat the drums on the guitar and play the bass lines and the rhythm and then the lead and then sing the song to everything playing together. And he does it so fast.
Yeah,
And he's been doing it for 60 years.
yeah.
And yeah, I love to be able to do that. But that takes a lot of talent and time.
It takes a lot of talent and time. Yeah,
If you think Logic takes a lot of time, try learning how to use a looper.
yeah. I don't even want to go there really, but
Right. Yeah, that's
so
insane.
so I got an adventure today. We're playing at a senior center in the little town, and and there's a group I play music with in in the Legion on Thursdays, and pretty much
Mm,
everybody's going to come today. But I'm not packing my drum kit, and I suggested that we do more. Go through original songs rather than just play cover songs. So
okay.
I'm gonna take my Mad Scientist kit. I've got the a bass player's coming, so I won't take the bass, but take my a little keyboard and
Right.
and like my acoustic guitar, a couple of microphones, and I found I had a bag full of sort of percussion stuff. I'm going to bring those along, and I got on the keyboard. I can actually, there's some interesting drum parts on the keyboard,
Right.
so I might just use the keyboard to play the drums. Like there's an
What?
Indian kit that's really kind of fun with tablets and stuff.
Right. Yeah. What kind of keyboard do you have?
Well, I've got right in front of me. I've got an M Audio that I'm using with Logic, but I just got a Casio that I got at um, at Costco. I saw it one day for 200
Yeah.
bucks, and it's battery operated and it's light,
Right.
and but the sounds in it are pretty good. Like if I
Yeah.
plug it through an amplifier, I've played on like older Roland's that had gone on tour with big bands. And,
Right.
and the little Casio has all of those sounds that was in that, plus a bunch more. I think
Right.
it's really, just because it was cheap doesn't mean the sound is, even the little
Right.
speakers are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I've been encouraging. There's a woman, a senior, who's our biggest fan on Thursdays to play, because she's one of these people who said, I always wanted to play music, but I don't have any talent and I don't know where to start. So anyway, I ordered one of these keyboards for her, and she's sitting there noodling away. So she
Cool.
also had a mandolin, and I keep on saying, "Yeah, you come out, you can play on
Right.
come
That's how I learned. Just pick it up. Let's see what we
yeah,
can do with this thing.
see what you can do." I had in high school there was a family, and the whole family played music. And I was in their house one time, and I think the mother was a bubble off, but when you walked in, she would stick an instrument, like a cello or a drum or something. You couldn't be in the house and not have an instrument. And one of the boys ended up playing piano at our wedding, and just one of the best musicians all around. But that came from the musical family. They just lived and breathed music. Everybody
Right.
played everything from jazz, anything, musical theater to, you know, yeah,
That's cool. That's so cool. I wish my dad would have spent more time with me, teaching me stuff, but he never did. The organ lessons I was taking, it was in a organ store in Philadelphia, and I learned years later that, oh, his mother used to teach piano, and I thought, you paid somebody instead of me taking to your mom's house, my grandmother's house, and have her teach me?
yeah,
So that was definitely mistakes on his part, and amazing that we never played music together ever.
yeah.
We never sat down and played together. So
Well, my
that's
family was not
interesting.
my family was not musical. Most of my family figured they were genetically incapable of singing in tune.
And maybe they were, right?
Yeah, and my older brother, who's 13 years older than I am, I give him credit for getting me interested in the drums, because he used to play with knives and stuff, and he would play on like dishes and peanut
Right.
butter jars and stuff.
Jars and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Anything that's there.
anything that's there. The whole I read I put out an article one time. The whole world's a drum. Everything's a percussion instrument.
It is. You can
Yeah,
tap on anything at any given time and just
yeah.
come up with
I
a
like
rhythm.
yeah. I like farm equipment. Combines and tractors sometimes have really good tone.
Do you ever see the episode with Frank Zappa? I think he was on the Steve Allen show and he played a bicycle.
The bicycle concerto. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then an episode on the Monkees, him and Mike Nesmith played an old dilapidated car with sledgehammers. And they were basically beating the crap out of it, but it's like they had it set to music, and it's like that's Frank Zappa. Yeah, all the way.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I come across. I guess I started watching a couple of the old clips, and he had a lot to say about a lot of things over the years.
Oh man, he was opinionated,
Uh,
but intelligent at the same time. You
oh
know,
yeah,
when he said something, it wasn't just an opinion, it was based upon some kind of knowledge. And he fought a lot. He appeared before Congress a lot about censorship.
yeah.
And if you listen to his talking there, it's like he doesn't sound like some hippie musician guy that is wasted away giving his opinion. And he sounded like an intelligent guy. And he never did drugs in his life.
No, he never
So,
did.
and
I thought,
you would think, well, listen to some of his stuff that, yeah, you do.
yeah, well, I don't know. Sometimes I really like the apostrophe era, and uh, with the band, because those are sort of the best studio musicians in Los Angeles, and
Yeah,
and one of the, I can't even remember who it was. They said basically that you go into the studio and Frank would write a song, and nobody could play the song the first day except not even Frank. He wrote
right,
stuff he could play. Says, but you better be able to play it uh, tomorrow.
right.
Because you damn well knew that Frank was going to be able to play it the next
By
day. So
tomorrow, yeah.
yeah,
He
and
challenged him, that's for sure.
he was yeah challenging. Yeah, it's yeah similar. A lot of those guys also played with Steely Dan, and they said that was a bit of an adventure too, right?
Yeah.
They said, I think, the two members said a lot of people are pissed at us because they come up for a session and then they never get invited back and they wonder why. Because you had to know what you're doing to keep up with those guys for sure too.
Right. And sometimes I try to write that way. Um, I have one song I can think of that I don't even know how to describe it musically, but it definitely goes between two different genres, and it is very quick, changing
Oh
back and forth.
yeah,
And so, from a drummer standpoint, you're doing one style of drumming, and all of a sudden you have to switch to this other
oh
style,
yeah, yeah for
and
sure.
then come
Yeah,
back. And
oh
it's
yeah,
that kind of song. So I get it. It's like, and I love doing stuff like that. It's just,
yeah,
I'm not a mainstream person. Yeah, I could write something mainstream real easy, you know? And I think
yeah,
I write more towards, right? My opinion and encouragement for people is write what comes out of you and like what you write. And
yeah. For
don't write for somebody else. Don't write because you're trying to write a hit for the radio, because that's never going to happen. You're only going to let yourself down, and the odds of you getting in are slim to none. And just do your thing, put out your
and
thing, publish your own stuff.
yeah, and
Cut
people,
out the
if you
middleman.
like it, somebody out there will like it. So,
Yeah, if you
yeah,
like it, somebody else got to like it, because you can't be the only person in the world that likes that kind of music.
yeah.
And
I
I don't think there's anything new under the sun,
no,
as far as style. When you look at a piano, what do you got? 14 notes altogether. If you're going from C
yeah,
to B, and then all the black notes, 14 notes. And since the beginning of time, those 14 notes have carried how many different songs? That's
yeah.
crazy.
No,
You know, it's
yeah, it's really infinite, and you can, somebody really good, especially piano, can play those in all sorts of different styles, like just one bar
exactly.
up. And anyway, I know in the school you posted a video with David Bowie.
Yes.
Yeah, he was talking about that. I bought his book. He wrote a book on songwriting, and with that idea of basically one of the funniest things he said is if we had a massive hit with a song, it says note to self, never do that again. So he deliberately tried not to
Copy
uh,
it.
copy it. And then in that little clip that you had is sort of, you know, you're, you get yourself a little bit out of your comfort level. What was the analogy? You're in the pool, you're not quite touching the ground anymore.
Right.
And
Yeah. Just keep walking in a little further.
yeah,
Right. And he did. I recently saw a video with him with uh, David Gilmour and Richard Wright, and they were doing Comfortably Numb. And
yeah,
David Bowie was on stage, and Richard Wright and Gilmour were both talking about how David Bowie made it into his own song,
yes,
and he sang the whole first part of it, and Gilmour sang the chorus and the rest of it. But it's just like, yeah, he turned it into a Bowie song.
yeah, for sure.
but at the same time, they were still playing it like Pink Floyd, and he had to sing like David Bowie along with the flow of Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
And it was very interesting how that worked out because it's like it was so not a Bowie song, and yet he turned it into one,
turned it in.
and
It's like
they loved it.
yeah, like Under Pressure with Queen. I really think that that's a Bowie song, but a lot of
Yeah,
people will think of it's a Queen song, but Bowie made it really.
yeah,
And
exactly.
um, yeah, he also got flack for people would say that he was totally derivative, and also at the same time saying it was so foreign they couldn't understand it as music, right? So and that's where he wanted to skate. Really was
That's the
because
beauty of it.
he
Yeah.
was like Cher. He always had something. If it was a disco area, it had that the influence of the music that was popular at the time, but he
Well,
put his own stamp on it all the time.
like Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fame. Yeah, yeah,
Bringing John Lennon in to sing backup vocals on that, and that kind of reminds me of Under Pressure.
yeah.
They're both kind of in the same vein, but when you go to like Ziggy Stardust or Major Tom and all, then that's something totally different from that, and so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, he didn't stick to the same thing, and I like that.
Constantly reinventing himself.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
wouldn't go as far as the costumes and everything, but
no, but I heard a story. There was somebody, and somebody told me the story. There was a young woman in Vancouver wanted to make like this little indie film with zero budget, and she said, "I'd really like David Bowie to come and be in it." Anyway, so she told that to a few people, and then she was sitting in this coffee shop, and her phone rang and says, "Oh, this is David." Anyway, I guess the word had got to her, and he came and did her film. There's no money in it or anything, but
that is cool. That is
So
so
that was
cool.
my lesson is if you want something, maybe put it out into the universe and things will happen, right?
Right, right, right. I could think of a few things I would want. I would love to have Carl Palmer playing a couple of my songs, because I know he would understand exactly what I want. And
Yeah.
there's very few people who play like him. Maybe Bill Bruford might be able to do it.
Oh yeah.
Alan
Yeah.
White's not with us anymore. He
Yeah.
would be able to do it, But
And we do
today's people,
we do Lucky Man in the Legion. I don't know
okay,
if I don't know if I started that, but yeah. And also Riders on the Storm. We do a few alternative things,
okay, yeah,
mostly country rock though.
okay. I mean, and I'm fine with all that stuff. I mean, you think the roots of country rock and where it started back with Graham Parsons and stuff,
Yeah.
and how it evolved in what it is today. It's like it's such a change.
Yeah.
It's such a unique change. And they actually credit Mike Nesmith for creating country rock.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah,
might be a good writer, good musician.
yeah, yeah. And he invented MTV. It
Yeah.
was called Video Clips or something like that. And then he sold it, and they asked him if he wanted to be part of it. He goes, "Nah." Yeah. I'm moving on to my next project now.
Yeah. Moving on
And
to the next project. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Bonnie said
so
the Monkeys were her favorite band when she was younger.
who said this?
My wife,
Oh
she
yeah,
liked the
I love
Monkeys.
them.
Yeah,
And if you never saw them live, you don't know what you're missing. Because yes, they did play their instruments, and Peter Tork was a phenomenal musician.
yeah,
When they started the reunion tours, I read somewhere that he actually had to teach Mike Nesmith how to play his old monkey songs because he hadn't played them in years. He didn't remember how to play it.
yeah,
But Peter Tork knew how to play all the parts. He could play bass, he could play guitar, banjo, organ, keyboards, and he was known for doing this classical music piece during concert. That definitely proved to all the naysayers that you don't think he's a musician? Listen to that. He
yeah.
was good, and they were very entertaining. I've seen them a couple times, but I never saw them all four of them together.
No,
No, I think the first time I saw him was Davy, Peter, and Mickey, and the last time I seen him, it was Mickey, Mike, and Peter, because Davy had died.
yeah,
And I was at a heart specialist office because I was having like heart palpitations or something. So I want to get my heart checked out. So I'm sitting there in the morning, I'm in the waiting room, and I look over the TV, and it's talking about Davy Jones died today of a heart attack. So it reminds me of where I was that exact day. I was getting my heart checked out. Yeah. And that
Yeah,
was years ago.
for sure. It's like most people remember where they were at when Elvis died, and a few other
Yeah.
historical things.
Yeah.
J- John Kennedy. So
Right. I
yeah,
was 2 months old and probably in diapers and either
you won't
needing
remember.
changed or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or looking for
yeah.
food.
I think I was like 6 years old or something at the time, but not.
Yeah. I was
But
literally
yeah,
2 months to the day.
oh, maybe it was
So,
2 years. It was pretty young. Anyway,
so any
well,
questions?
yeah. So um,
What
yeah,
was,
I
yeah,
really enjoy the sessions going through like other people's like some of those arrangements that the others people are
I'm
doing
doing?
are really quite elaborate, with lots of,
Right.
sometimes 20 tracks and the whole
Yeah.
thing, listening through it as a group and seeing what can be improved or what
Yeah.
needs to go.
Michael Gill writes some good stuff and
Yeah, for
Bev,
sure.
Pacheco, she's been writing some really good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. And she, she writes a lot of orchestral stuff.
Okay.
But one day she came in with something that was totally not in that genre at all. It was a rock upbeat something. I can't quite place it off the top of my head, but we all were sitting there with our jaws dropped, going, "You came up with this, really? That is so good, Beth. That is awesome."
Yeah.
So, and I love the creativity of it. I love the encouragement. Um, and little by little, you start to see more people sharing. You'll share, Menko will share.
Yeah.
Kenny's working on his stuff.
Yeah.
He's been sharing. Um, uh, Roberto, he's new, and
Robert. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, he's been sharing. And so Lauren and her husband, they have a whole different genre they two work on,
Yeah.
and it's very interesting. It's good. I like our group because I don't think there's one person in the group that does exactly what somebody else does. We all
No.
are in a different niche, and
Yeah.
that is cool because whether
Yeah.
you like this style or not, it can inspire you to do something different with yours, especially when you get the breakdown of all the different plugins and everything you can use. Um, have a notepad ready because you'll be writing stuff down every single time. Like, oh, better write down. I need this. I need to check this out, and so on and so forth. I've run out of hard drive room. I need to talk to Kyle about moving my plugins to external hard drives without screwing it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
I probably got about, I don't know, 8 to 10 gigs of free external hard drive space that if I move my plugins there, then my
Yeah.
hard drive on my computer is fine. And then
Yeah.
go back to storing songs again.
Yeah, from my video work, I probably have 20 or 30 external hard drives. It
Oh
says,
yeah.
yeah, pain.
And I can see why. Yeah. I can
Yeah,
see why.
video is insanely demanding, right? So
Yeah. It
for
just
space.
sucks your hard drive up. You buy your computer thinking, oh, that's plenty of space. 6 months later, you're like, that's not enough space.
Well, I bought a MacBook Pro in
Okay.
order to do video editing, and I had a like a multi-camera shoot, and so I sat there and I brought in all the video. I ran out of space completely. It says I thought, okay, I thought I would have enough space to last more than 10 minutes.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anyway, I went back and deleted it all. I didn't. Um, Apple defaulted to taking your footage and expanding it to the largest possible format. Like
Oh,
so.
wow.
So basically, I went back and there was a little checkbox to bring it in the native format, and
Right.
that was which is 1/100th of what Apple wanted to do with it. Because the whole idea when you had really slow computers, most computers could read the hard drive if it wasn't compressed, but they couldn't deal with
Right.
the compression. So they would basically store it all uncompressed or very low compression. And
Right.
and but that eats up insane amounts of hard drive. Like that's,
Exactly.
yeah. Because I've done projects with 5 or 6 cameras, and that's just crazy.
Oh my goodness, yes. That's with Logic. It's always good to save your versions as alternative versions when they
Yeah.
make changes. So you limit the amount of space that you take up on your hard drive. It doesn't take up the same amount of space.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of saying, you know, song title, I don't know, it's going to say everything. And then next track, everything two, everything three. They're all full versions taking up a lot of space. Where if you just say, save everything as an alternative version and call it everything two, now
Yeah.
it's a smaller, compacted version, and it's not as big as the original file. It's like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I might actually get a dedicated hard drive for this and start going before I get carried away.
Right.
You know,
Even
just
Kyle's run out of room. He's run out of room live.
yeah,
He
yeah,
went to show us something, all of a sudden his whole computer freezed up.
yeah.
It's like,
No.
oh no. So
Anyway, I
yeah.
got to run for this. Go get set up for this gig, and this is fun. And
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I
and
hope you
we'll
accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. Yeah.
yeah. No, I
I'm not sure.
yeah. No, well, I just my whole mission here is to encourage people to enjoy what they're doing with music and express themselves.
Yeah.
And you're living it, you're doing it,
Yeah.
and the whole thing about like what you said is do things that you enjoy for you. Like
Yeah.
most people, like even like Rick Beato's talking to a lot, like even Michael McDonald says, I don't even understand how the music industry works at all. I don't know where you even start, so you might
Right.
as
Yeah.
well do stuff you like, and the stuff you
Right.
like, if you like it, somebody else will like it too. And for me, I'm like that with writing too. I encourage people just to write, even if you have no purpose for it. It's a
Right.
useful thing to do. Nobody ever needs to read what you write, but it's a rewarding experience just in itself.
Yeah. Always write down every thought in your mind as far as lyrically,
Yeah,
and always record what you do musically.
yeah,
Because that thing that you think isn't so great, you'll listen to it 10 years from now and say, I can use that. And it hits differently because I've done that with a lot of songs recently. Lyrics that I was reading and literally putting to music and saying the whole time, these lyrics stink, really. They really do stink. And once I heard them to the song, I'm like, no, they actually work. That's pretty good. So don't
yeah.
always throw away something because you're not sure about it. Save it.
No,
Yeah.
like some bands, I can't name one, but some of the bands would do all their stuff in the studio. So they go out in the studio and they would just have the tapes running all of the time, and they're noodling and stuff, and they go along, and then they eventually come up with a song, and then somebody say, "Didn't we do something 6 months ago here that was kind of cool?"
Yeah. The
and
Beatles did that all the time.
yeah,
They came in, just noodled around and goofed around a lot. If you see their documentary, it seems like they spent a lot of valuable time goofing off in the studio that costs money
yeah,
and somehow come up with a song. And as they're writing like a song, deliberately mocking the song lyrically as they're singing it. And it's
yeah,
like you can see two of the guys looking at them like, all right, can we get serious so we're done? You know? But they're having a great time. And when you listen to Final Pick, it's so amazing that people hold them up on this pedestal, that such great artists and all that. And to get a visual inside that world of their writing and see how bad it was when they originally
oh
started,
yeah, yeah, for
it's
sure,
like
yeah,
it's encouraging, because
yeah,
it's like,
encouraging,
okay, don't knock that bad idea. Keep it.
yeah. I think I listened to the audiobook, and then last night we watched the documentary on Man on the Run with Paul McCartney,
Okay. Yeah.
which is interesting. And one of the things he said is, as well, it's you know so something that you had an idea that you come up with sitting in your room somewhere, and it ends up developing into a song, and people are like it. It ended up, fans like it. So it's kind of a miracle.
It is. It really is. It's like you just think some things we create, and they're only meant for us.
Yeah,
And then some things we create are meant for somebody else to hear. And it's knowing the difference. And you will eventually, as you build your catalog up, you'll be like, yeah, nobody's hearing that one, but I like it, but I'm not letting anybody else hear it. Or I've written stuff that I thought I was writing as a song, and it turned out the lyrics were literally written to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
As I thought I was thinking about someone else and the whole situation of the song, saying, encourage him to do this and that, and I look back, it's like, wait a minute, I can relate to that. It's like
Well,
it's like I was talking to myself.
yeah, one of the
I just
songs
didn't
that I'm
know it.
going to do for the master class is a song I I it's one of these things. One of I've been involved with a number of churches. One said, "Do you want to be the gift of music on, in 2 weeks or something like that?" And says, "Oh
Right,
yeah, I've got the song I want to do." And I realized later the song was I had a title and I had an idea, hadn't really written out the lyrics, and then I was playing with a guitarist who was pretty good. I hummed it to him, and he came up with an arrangement, and then we practiced it a couple of times, and then it did it, and it never
yeah,
really. I wasn't really up to speed with it yet, and still
right,
not. And but that song was really written for me. It was like it was a song to myself, and so
right,
you could somebody you could apply to it to somebody else. You can interpret it that way, but really it
right,
was it was for me.
exactly. And they're the
Yeah,
special ones
yeah,
because when you hear them and you listen to it, it brings a tear to your own eye. You're like, wow, that's deep. Because it's deep because it hit here, not deep
yeah,
because it hit somebody else. And that's like, wow, and I wrote that.
yeah. Amazing. Anyway, I got to run. Well, thank you for doing this, and
Well,
we'll
thanks
see you
for inviting me.
Monday. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow night. All right.
Yeah. All
Take
righty.
care.